He Return of the Lost Daughter. 12 years ago, my ex-wife, then 41, and I, then 45, separated. She found comfort in the arms of a wealthy man, and our daughter Laura, who was just 12 at the time, decided she wanted to stay with her stepfather, asking me to relinquish my parental rights. Fast forward to today, Laura, now 22, has returned to me, destitute and seeking help after her mother passed away and her stepfather threw her out. When my ex-wife and I were married, she was a stay-at-home mom, not interested in working or earning money. Although my finances were strained, I never forced her to work. I held down 2 jobs, making just enough to provide a decent meal but not enough for the luxurious lifestyle she desired. Our relationship eventually deteriorated when she confessed to an affair with a wealthy man. She left immediately, and we filed for divorce, agreeing to co-parent Lara. Initially, Lara and I shared a strong bond. I would have her over on weekends, and we enjoyed many adventures together. However, as time passed, Lara's enthusiasm for our meetings waned. She began canceling our weekends together, often preferring to go on extravagant trips with her stepfather. Despite my efforts to keep her engaged and happy, our visits dwindled to once a month, and even then she seemed disinterested. When I confronted her, she admitted she preferred her stepfather's lavish lifestyle over our modest outings. Things came to a head when Lara asked me to give up my parental rights. In a painful meeting with my ex-wife, her husband, and Lara, she stated she wanted her stepfather to adopt her. Despite my attempts to explain the consequences, Lara was resolute. Devastated, I eventually agreed, believing a legal battle would be futile and might only hurt Lara more. After losing her, I spiraled into depression, lost my job, and had to rebuild my life from scratch. Years later, I met my current wife, Brianna, and her daughter Emma. We formed a new family, and Emma even asked me to adopt her, healing some of my old wounds. Together, Brianna and I also have a young daughter, Amy. Life moved on, and I found peace in my new family. However, a week ago, Lara reappeared. She hugged me and called me dad, but I told her I had 2 daughters, and she was not one of them anymore. Despite her pleas and her sob story about being abandoned by her stepfather, I remained unmoved. She later went to my mother, who, softened by Lara's tears, urged me to reconcile. I refused, too hurt by the past betrayals to consider letting her back into my life. Update. Many commenters asked if my ex-wife manipulated Lara, or if there was something inherently wrong with our relationship. Here's a brief context about my ex-wife. When we met, she was working as a waitress, and I was a regular customer. After we got married, she stopped working, initially content with my earnings. However, as years passed, she began comparing me to her friends' wealthier husbands, eventually cheating on me and leaving for a richer man. Lara, being only 12 at the time, was likely influenced by her mother. But she could have reached out to me when she turned 18, yet she didn't. Now at 22, she only contacted me because her stepfather cut her off financially. This shows her motives are more about money than genuine reconciliation. Lara claims her mother's illness and her stepfather's subsequent abandonment have left her desperate. She admitted that her mother had orchestrated the plan to humiliate me by making Lara ask for the disownment. I offered to take her back as my daughter but made it clear she would receive no financial support. She seemed hesitant and has not contacted me since. Second update. Lara visited my mother again, appearing distressed and covered in rashes, begging for money. My mother, feeling sorry for her, gave her some food and $100. Lara promised to bring the document needed to reverse the disownment but never did. When she visited my mother again, my mother refused to give her more money, and Lara lashed out, revealing her true colors by saying there was no point in being my daughter if there was no financial gain. My mother chased her out and called me, informing me of both visits. I'm now considering a restraining order against Lara to protect my mother. I understand some people believe Lara made a choice as a child and should not be judged harshly. However, she's now an adult and still behaves manipulatively, driven by financial motives rather than any genuine desire to reconnect. My heart aches for the girl she once was, but the woman she has become is a stranger to me, shaped by years of manipulation and greed. My new family has given me a second chance at happiness, and I cannot risk that for someone who abandoned me for a wealthier life only to return when it fell apart. Shy girlfriend's secret online life. I 35M recently discovered that my shy, social media averse girlfriend 37F has a secret 8-year-old Reddit account dedicated to bullying and spreading hate. She has agoraphobia and doesn't go out much without me, so I was surprised to see her on Reddit. Her account predates our relationship, and her comments are filled with hate, fat shaming, and bullying people with disabilities. She often lies about her appearance to belittle others, and gets upset when downvoted. Her mood swings often align with her Reddit activity. I decided to confront her with evidence, recording the conversation for my safety. When I showed her screenshots, she was shocked and tried to downplay it, claiming she was just venting. I expressed my concerns about her behavior and how it contrasted with her real-life persona. She became defensive, accusing me of invading her privacy. But eventually she broke down and admitted she had been using Reddit to vent her frustrations and insecurities. Her behavior online was a coping mechanism for her agoraphobia and social anxiety, but it was unhealthy and harmful to others. I suggested she seek therapy, and she reluctantly agreed. This revelation has deeply affected our relationship, and I'm not sure if we can move past it. I care about her, but her online actions are disturbing, and I'm left questioning if I truly know her. Update. After our initial confrontation, my girlfriend started therapy. The therapist diagnosed her with severe social anxiety and suggested a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) and medication. We also discussed her online behavior and its impact on our relationship. She expressed deep remorse and agreed to delete her Reddit account. Despite her efforts to change, I struggled to reconcile the loving person I knew with the hateful individual she portrayed online. I sought advice from friends and a therapist, who advised me to give her a chance but also to prioritize my own mental health. We had several long conversations about our future and whether we could rebuild trust. My girlfriend's therapy sessions seemed to help. She became more open about her struggles and started to find healthier ways to cope with her anxiety. She took up painting, which she said was a therapeutic outlet for her emotions. We also attended couples therapy to address the trust issues in our relationship. However, as time passed, I found it increasingly difficult to move past the revelations about her online behavior. The hurtful comments she made, even if done out of frustration, left a lasting impression. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had been living with a stranger. My friends and family were supportive, but they too were concerned about the drastic contrast between her online and offline personas. Ultimately, I decided to end the relationship. It was a painful decision, but I realized that I needed to prioritize my own well-being. My girlfriend was devastated, but she understood my reasons. We parted ways amicably, and I continued to support her by encouraging her to stick with her therapy and pursue her passions. In summary, both stories revolve around individuals dealing with unexpected and difficult situations with their loved ones. One story involves a father's emotional journey dealing with abandonment and betrayal, while the other explores a partner discovering a dark side of their significant other. Both highlight the complexities of relationships and the challenges of forgiveness and trust. Family reunion turned nightmarish. My wife Liz 35F and I 37M have been happily married for 12 years. We have 2 children, a son, Jake 10M, and a daughter, Mia 7F. Recently we decided to attend my extended family's annual reunion, which we hadn't been to in years. We thought it would be a great opportunity for our kids to connect with their cousins, and for us to catch up with relatives. However, the reunion turned into a nightmare that left us questioning our relationships with my family. We arrived at the reunion, held at my aunt's sprawling estate, full of excitement. The kids were thrilled to see the large backyard with a pool, a trampoline, and other fun activities. Liz and I were looking forward to reconnecting with my cousins and their spouses. However, things took a turn for the worse when my mother, who has always been critical of Liz, started making snide remarks about her appearance and our parenting style. My mother has never liked Liz, primarily because she comes from a different cultural background. Despite Liz's efforts to win her over, my mother's disdain has remained unchanged. At the reunion, she commented on Liz's weight, criticized her choice of outfit, and even made backhanded remarks about our children's behavior. I could see the hurt in Liz's eyes, but she remained composed, trying not to let my mother's words ruin the day. The final straw came during dinner when my mother publicly accused Liz of being a bad influence on me and our children. She claimed Liz had changed me, implying that I had become distant from the family because of her. I stood up for Liz, defending her and our choices, but my mother continued her tirade. Other family members either stayed silent or subtly nodded in agreement, making us feel isolated and unsupported. Liz, holding back tears, excused herself from the table and went outside. I followed her, trying to comfort her while feeling a mix of anger and helplessness. We decided to leave the reunion early, gathering our children and making a hasty exit. On the drive home, we talked about how my family's behavior had crossed a line and how we needed to address it. Update. After the disastrous reunion, I contacted my mother to discuss her behavior. The conversation quickly turned heated, with my mother refusing to apologize and insisting she was only speaking the truth. She accused me of abandoning my family and choosing Liz over them. I made it clear that her treatment of Liz was unacceptable, and that until she could show respect, we would be keeping our distance. This decision caused a rift within the family. Some relatives supported us, understanding our need to protect our family from toxic behavior. Others sided with my mother, believing she had a right to her opinions. The division has been painful, but Liz and I remain united in our stance. We also decided to seek family therapy to navigate the emotional fallout from the reunion. The therapist helped us communicate our feelings more effectively and reinforced the importance of setting boundaries with toxic family members. The experience brought Liz and me closer together, reaffirming our commitment to each other and our children. In the months that followed, we focused on creating positive memories with our kids, spending quality time together, and surrounding ourselves with supportive friends. We also made an effort to connect with the family members who had shown us support, maintaining those relationships while distancing ourselves from the negativity. The family reunion incident served as a harsh reminder of the importance of standing up for your loved ones and setting boundaries with those who refuse to show respect. While it was a painful experience, it ultimately strengthened our family unit and highlighted the value of love, respect, and support in our lives.